I quite like asking questions in my golf lessons of golfers. I want to find out what makes them tick. I want to find out what they think about their own game. And the classic question that we ask is, how far do you hit the golf ball? And we might just pick a club and say, 7-iron. Tell me how far you hit a 7-iron. And the classic response comes back with, I can hit it 165 yards. And the key word there is can. And my response back is, well, how far do you hit it? And the word do and the word can are very different. You might be able to hit the ball 165 yards once or twice with your 7-iron. And we could measure that ball and say, well, that went 165 yards. Because you know what? I hit that one really nicely. I struck it sweetly on a perfectly flat lie without much wind on a nice dry day, and it might go 165 yards. The golfer then might hit another shot for me. And I've hit that one not quite as well. I've hit that one deliberately out of the toe with a slightly bigger divot, and that's probably gone around about 140 yards. But of course, I don't remember that one, do I? I remember the 165 yard one, the one that flew further. And then we say to the golfer, how far can you hit your 7-iron? 165 yards. How far do you hit it? Well, it probably averages around about 150. For most club golfers, a 7-iron is probably around about 150. But of course, when I go on the golf course, if I'm stood 150 yards away, I pull out my 8-iron and not my 7-iron, because in my head, my 7-iron goes 165. So the key to this tip really is make sure you're playing the club that averages 150, not the one that can fly a bit further. So when we see golfers on the golf course, most people underclub. Most people play to the front of the greens, which is actually where most of the hazards are. And that's because when we give them a yardage, they remember their best ever shot. The one that maybe on a nice dry day off a perfect lie, they struck it right out the middle and it maybe flew a little bit extra downwind, and they remember that one. Likewise with your tee shots. Whenever you hit a good tee shot, it comes right out the middle of the club, lands on a hard fairway and runs as far as it can. You always say, hey, let's measure that one. Let's measure how far that 300 yarder went. If you hit one a little bit ropey out the heel into a headwind and it cuts onto the fairway at 220, you never measure that one, do you? You never remember that one. So when I say to somebody, how far can you hit your driver? I can hit it 300. But if there's a ditch at 260, you're probably not going to be able to carry the ditch at 260. So let's remember our averages and not our best. Improve your club selection by playing to your averages, and that should help improve your golf scores.